call it a nickname. All right. Dark Side of the Mic podcast. This is episode 206, I believe. Man, I'm professional. My name is James. First and foremost, thank you to Alfonso for inviting me out here with you, fine gentlemen.
Long overdue.
Yeah, for sure, man. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Steven over here.
Yeah, Steve-O, Chuck Nash Auto Group, Howling at the Moon, Texas Curb Appeal. I appreciate James. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
I forgot to upload your graphic.
Oh, well, it's okay. We'll figure it out.
Y'all want to go introduce ourselves?
Go ahead, John.
Sure, I'm John Hardy, Divided Sky Roofing and Solar.
Hey, man.
glad to be out
Sunshine,
here.
a.k.a. Sunshine.
Oh man, he went all out. I'm just little money.
Little money with big pockets.
I guess you're picking up over there pretty good.
Yeah, we
I
can
pick
hear
up pretty good everywhere.
Yeah. Remember,
All right.
you're
Those
locked up.
pineapples.
And that was before the recording started. All right, we need to come on down over there.
I'm Matthew Worthington. I'm with Pam Health of Luling and Lockhart.
Nice.
Hey, Big Money, what do you got? Regional baby?
Big,
What
yeah,
you doing?
Come on,
big
little
money. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Big money.
And this is Alfonso on the mic. And first of all, I want to give thanks to James and Steven for coming out here and setting up for us. This is a real treat for us. I'm here just representing the Lockhart community, and I've got my brother Jaime in the wings over there, who provides the laughter from the peanut gallery. And I just, you just got introduced by a bunch of friends that come from San Marcos, and I think the main purpose, James, that we got here together was just kind of, we always talk about regionally, and where we share a lot of organizations, we're on a lot of boards together, and I just thought, hey, it'd be great to invite these guys down here and experience the Lockhart love, and hopefully, you'll see a little bit of that. But I do want to give a shout out to Leon Cigar Company.
Oh, yeah.
Christian and Mr. C and Joseph in the house. Man, they provided a great setup for us, complimentary drinks, cigars. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better. So, big shout out to them. So, and we're smoking their Pride.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
Pride cigar, man. Their
Pride
label.
cigar.
So
Yeah.
nice, man. Nice. Definitely, you got to come and try it out here. Great vibe.
Yeah, man, it's a good place out here. You got
Here in Lockhart, which is pretty cool. You do some work with the Hispanic Chamber?
I did. And by the way, it's the 5th of May for you guys that need a little translation.
Oh, we appreciate that. Thank you. Only Texas natives over here.
Cinco de Drinko.
I did.
not every day was Margarita Day.
Right, I'm on the board
Oh,
of
yeah.
directors, and yeah, it was a nice event. Nice event. A lot of people willing to come out, and we're really proud of that.
Yeah.
We're proud about showcase our community.
Saw you out there getting your exercise on. Saw you beat me. I wasn't too.
You're catching on, man.
Yeah.
He got you on the 5K?
Yeah, he did, man.
Yeah. What was your time?
Well, it depends where you time it, because I had a little mishap there toward the end. So I'm at about 100 yards from the finish line, right? And I'm doing my best time ever. And I calculated what it would have been. It would have been 24 minutes and 30 seconds, which is my all-time best.
That's a good time.
But 100 yards out, I dropped my bandana. And I'm a pretty attached to my bandana, so instead of dropping and keep on going, I decided to come back around and pick it up.
Yeah.
And that kind of
Lost
cost
yourself a
my
little
time.
bit
But
of
yeah, but hey,
Yeah, I get it, man.
it was fun.
I do the same thing when I start to cramp up on a run. I just purposely drop something and then slowly make my way back. And
Hey, you
I understand.
figured it out, man.
Would they raise for scholarships though too? That was a big amount, right?
And they had a record turnout too. I think they
Nice.
had about almost 400.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest
Wow.
one I've ever seen, for sure.
Yeah.
I think
That's
every
awesome.
year the turnout keeps getting bigger and
Growing
bigger.
and growing. Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
I know For the Love of Go helps put that on
They
with the Hispanic Chamber, so that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know the amount of the scholarship level started like 500, then they're like 10 to 12,000. I mean, it's amazing what they were talking about. So that was pretty cool.
I think that's why, and you touch on a good point. All of us here are involved in some of these nonprofit organizations, and why do we do it? I mean, it's not like we have the extra time, you know.
Right. Give up our free time, but to help our communities.
Exactly, and they do a lot of wonderful things in San Marcos. You know, I'm honored to be a part of some of those, but I want them to also see what we do here in Lockhart, and hopefully share back some of the ideas. Right? I think that's why we kind of do all this, is just kind of sharing ideas.
Grow together.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of get back to it. You're only as good as the community you serve. So.
That's right.
You're here.
Yeah, I wasn't always like I didn't always realize the importance of putting back into the community and all of that stuff, and that started doing the podcast and coming around to some of these businesses, the little mom and pop shops, and yeah, I've gotten really into just putting back and kind of giving a platform to some of these businesses and nonprofits. You know, they're trying to make a change in the community and stuff, especially for the kids and the young ones that are growing up, because there's a lot of trouble to be getting into out there, and it's I feel like it's important to you know, show them a different path, you know, other than the streets. You know?
Right.
So it's I feel like it's pretty important.
Show them all the opportunities that are out there, for sure.
You get what you give.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely preaching to the choir, because
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of,
It's our thing.
you know, it's kind of kept me in my lane. You know, it just, you're right, giving back, and it's
Yeah, and it's cool because both Lockhart and San Marcos are growing so quickly, but when you connect with a lot of those local businesses and the local people that are involved, those communities still feel really small.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives you that real hometown vibe that I think a lot of places are still are missing, and we're trying to keep that going, and it feels like y'all are doing that really well in Lockhart, and I know we're trying in San Marcos too. So.
Well, the local small businesses are typically your heartbeat of your community, so you got to support them and keep it all going.
Heartbeat of America.
Something that's kind of a big topic amongst friends of mine and stuff that we get to talking about is people coming down from Austin, and you know, you got the whole "Don't Austin My Lockhart" slogan and stuff. I wanted to kind of get y'all's take on that whole thing about, you know, I've heard people complaining about out-of-towners like buying up houses, fixing them up, and you know, $2,000 of rent. I mean, yeah.
Where's that at?
Well, I think in general, that's what we all talk about, is like the growth is coming and the growth is happening in here. So as us in the community, it's our job to guide that growth and how we want that to look for our communities. So if we're not doing it, yeah, people are going to come in from wherever, and they're kind of going to grow that how they think it should look or whatever. So for us, we're trying to be a part of this and make this growth happen the way that we want it to look for our communities, because at the end of the day, Austin, San Antonio, or whatever, they're either going to grow on top of us or they're going to grow around what we're doing. So we're all trying to make this happen and move in a good direction. So, I mean, I'd like to say it's coming, but it's here.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. So that's what we're trying to do, is trying to move the needle ourselves and control that growth and go in the direction that we want it to go.
Yeah, I feel like it's important too to keep the I don't know what you would call it, the personality and the culture of Lockhart alive, and not kind of be overtaken.
The beauty of Lockhart, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I think we have a unique personality, but so does San Marcos. And I think that's where regionalism comes in, because people don't understand that even though we're, you know, almost 30 minutes away, the impact and what goes on in San Marcos, we feel it. We feel it directly, and vice versa. And I think that's kind of our discussion always based on that, is, you know, how can we improve, or what can we do to help one community that kind of, you know, trickles to the next. And
the business community kind of sees that before, sometimes if you're not kind of in the business community, before you see it. I mean, I work in healthcare, so Lockhart people will go to San Marcos or New Braunfels or Austin for their doctors, but then they want their therapy here, or they want, you know what I'm saying? So we're all traveling to all these different cities within the region at the end of the day. So that's important to build this up. We're just making our lives better for our communities. So it just makes sense to work together and to build what we need for each other. Like, I know what you need, you know what I need, and I'm going to provide that, you provide this, and now we're coming to each other for that. So I think that's the beauty of it, when we all come together and work together. Like, man.
Well, I got a question to come up. So we talk about culture. How do you bring together culture and affordability? what does the city need to do to keep that culture and also keep that affordability in place? And so what San Marcos has a hard time dealing with is we're landlocked, just like Lockhart's landlocked. So what do you need to keep affordable? You got to have a density. You got to build up. You got to build more people on more square footage to keep those prices down. You can't have a plethora of single-family homes that's going up, because it'd be no different than something like Kyle that did something like that. So, you know, affordability is about bringing more people and putting them on more land, but then it's also the aspect of the culture that comes up. Is how do you keep that culture intact? It's something everybody struggles with, and it's a generational issue too at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why Cinco de Mayo that you brought up earlier, James, that's why, you know, stuff like that keeps the culture alive in its own way, you know, and but there's a lot of great things happening in San Marcos too, you know. I mean, you guys have your own festivals that promote the culture as well, you know, and there are a lot of similarities. I mean, they've got the nice square like we do. Of course, I feel like y'all are years beyond where we are, but
Really?
I think so. I mean, you got a beautiful entertainment district going on there, and you know, we're just getting there.
Yeah, it's when I think of Lockhart, I think of one of the prettiest downtown
absolutely.
That
squares
square is
in the whole
amazing, yeah.
state. And you know, if y'all can figure out a way to grow that in a way that some other, you know, Central Texas communities have, I think y'all have a gem of an absolute, you know, just a great downtown area that'll bring people there to appreciate the culture of Lockhart. If y'all can figure out a real way to grow that, capitalize on it a little bit, keep it unique in your own way, that would just be do wonders for the community.
I think that's a good point that you brought up, though, because I think, like, getting a lot of people educated on that mindset and making sure that that's how we would be able to bring affordability into with everybody moving in. Because I think when I talk to people, when I hear that is when they see, you know, apartments or duplexes and townhouses, stuff like that put up, they kind of think, oh, you know, we're getting all these apartments in, but that's kind of something that is necessary, and I don't think a lot of people know that. So I think it's just making sure they understand those type of things too, you know.
The missing middle, we call it.
It fixes the missing middle. It's about to bring that up. But then the most affordable property on the market right now is a condo. But it's not as much square footage as the previous generation might appreciate. You might be looking at 500, 700 square foot. But that's a person's first ability to buy a product to generate that wealth to grow. And maybe you have an investment property later on. But
Get you in the game. Get your foot in the door.
game.
Yeah, that's what people miss out on. It's like, man, that's what people do. They get in on whatever level, and then you're able to grow from there.
They think that goal is maybe the single family home that's
Christian.
now $300,000, $400,000, you know, they think like that. So yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Hey, I'd like to give we gave a shout out to Leon, but we have the owner representative.
Oh, yeah.
give a big shout out.
Can you give us some words of wisdom, Christian? Some wisdom. We need it in this group, man. We need all the words
I
of
might
wisdom.
move to Lockhart because of you.
Come on down. We got plenty of room, I think. Just don't bring
The riffraff.
Well, you know, sometimes it follows wherever I go, so I can't help it.
You gotta watch out for those guys from Wimberley.
No, bring that small town culture. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, I think that's you know, if we can keep that, like y'all were talking about, culture and keeping that small town feel, and we can still bring in the new businesses, new entertainment venues, things like that, the things that our town needs to help us, you know, grow with the growth, but keeping that kind of small town feel like the downtown area and the culture and the history of what Lockhart used to be, and it still is.
And that's going to be the big challenge
Yeah.
with all this development coming to town, and I guess that's what every town faces, right? But, well, thank you again, Christian, for hosting this for
appreciate
us.
y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Cigars.
And we're smoking your brand, the Pride.
Pride,
So,
yeah.
You guys haven't tried the
Solid.
cigar, man. Yeah, it's solid. You need to come down. You're missing out.
Check it out, yeah.
And we're going to be here for a little while, and your shop is going to be open, right?
We'll be open until 10 o'clock tonight.
There you go. No excuse.
What was the difference on these?
So the lighter
We need
wrapper
the
is
light-
going to be
cutter?
a Connecticut wrapper. It's going to be the mild cigar. The Colonel is the red one. It's going to be a
Colonel.
medium cigar. And then
Need that nickname.
the darker one is going to be a full-bodied cigar. The story between the names, they're named after my grandfather. My grandfather was a judge. He was a colonel, and he was a teacher.
Mayor?
Oh.
He was the first Hispanic mayor here in Texas.
That's pretty cool, man.
And so we named each cigar after him, and then the pride represents the pride we had in him.
Yeah.
But also Lions, we have a pride is when we get together and we work together as a group, and so that's kind of the
Man, that's awesome.
And you forgot to mention, he also had the administrative building for the LISD named after him.
Yes, named
MLC
Oh,
Snaps
That's a
campus.
deep history.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's
so we're deep. My family is deep in the history of Lockhart. We have a vested interest here, and so that's kind of I wanted to make it my business going to be here and grow from here, and so we're restarted.
Amazing.
I like it, man. A lot of thought in that name. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, one thing that these guys noticed, you know, and most of you guys, this is your first time here, right? They noticed the vibe.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you, man. It's got a great vibe here. So,
Yeah. We wanted to make it comfortable. We wanted to make it inviting, and you will sit back. And the longer you stay here, the more cigars you're going to smoke. So, business model in my eyes.
And the more connections you'll
Yeah,
make.
exactly.
I noticed
And that's
that
what
when
it
we
is.
walked in, everybody was super friendly. You know, just introducing themselves, and the conversation really
Yeah,
flowed.
and that's what I like about a cigar lounge, right? You're going to go in there and you're going to meet people that you've never met from all walks of life. You can have the grocery bagger from HEB, and you can have a Wall Street investor. You can have a senator sitting there. You're not even knowing it, but you're having a conversation
Right.
with them. You make these friends over just to smoke. And the idea of just sitting back, relaxing, and everything that's outside in the world that's stressing you out is gone. It stays at the door, and you can just sit back, relax, have a good drink of scotch
Nailed
or
it.
bourbon, and have a cigar and enjoy yourself.
even a trash guy can show up, man. He's feel welcome, man. You know, that's got to be a good place.
I mean, I thought it's great. It's the first place I've been in Lockhart. I don't smell barbecue.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
We gotta tackle the one of the hard questions that I like to ask is so you're eating barbecue in Lockhart. Where are you going?
Ooh, man.
I mean, that's-
I know you're bringing on the heat. Yeah, don't answer that.
I mean,
I'm going to go with Smitty's.
Man, I love some Smitty's. Man, and also, like, what I'm going to eat, that's tough. If I'm just eating brisket, I'm not doing anything to it. I'm just eating the brisket by itself.
not a sauce man.
I like,
What you're saying.
yeah, I like Kreitz.
There you go.
But, man, Smitty's is a go-to. And then blacks, you can't go wrong. Like, original blacks, like, and,
Well, it depends
you
if
know.
you go to the one in Austin or not.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's whether you want to stand in line or not, right?
Well, I've always been particular to the original blacks because of all the community support that they give. Both San Marcos and Lockhart, I'm like, man, Kent Black is like, he's whatever it is, they do it, and I greatly appreciate that because that's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do these community events and get people involved, and he's somebody that's always been like, you just say, hey, here what it is, and he's like, yep, I'll do it. You don't have to sell it to him or anything. He's down. So I've always appreciated that about them too. So.
Well, I mean, year over year, the 5K for Sights and Sounds. I mean,
Oh
they're
yeah,
always the
Sights
top
and
sponsor
Sounds. We
right
have
there.
our big party there for the 5K afterwards. Like, yeah, there's no question. So I got a lot of love for them too.
And they're all very generous.
They are, yeah.
That's the beauty about it, and I think that's part of the small town personality you talked about. Hopefully, we'll always stay generous. And one thing when McCoy's had the groundbreaking ceremony here a couple of days ago, and that's one thing that I appreciate about them is just that philanthropic principle that they have. I hope that it catches fire here in Lockhart. And I
Just
think
giving
that's-
back. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
Support
going to
the
pick
community
because
that
I'd like to be invited back to Lockhart. So I'm just gonna stay mute.
Hey, if it's lunch though, I'm at Chisholm Trail
Chisholm
all
Trail.
day, all
Yeah.
day.
First answer, it's always
Man,
I like
all day.
That's where the locals eat.
Some brisket tamales.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Chisholm
there you
Trail
go.
brisket
Yeah,
tamales.
You haven't really tried Lockhart barbecue until you go to Chisholm Trail.
yeah.
Chisholm Trail fan, huh?
Oh man.
I have my favorites.
The best chopped beef in the world, boy.
I used to I
Chop
put some
beef.
time in working at Kreitz, so I'm kind of biased.
Oh,
I guess.
nice. Yeah.
But it was fun.
Willie Kreitz and Smitty's somewhere related there?
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Everybody's got, there's always that family connection, and then the heat behind it. The beef. There's some beef behind it.
They all
Yeah.
got that sausage dressing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hold on, he picked up the mic. Let's see.
Yeah, well, isn't San Marcos Barbecue got some relation there too?
He's from Lockhart.
Yeah.
He's
They're
part
near.
of he might be Kreitz related.
Blacks is.
Or is he under Black?
Blacks in San Marcos, right?
No,
Yeah.
I think he's.
Well, the San Marcos
I think it
barbecue
was
guy.
Smitty's
He's
guys.
from. He was. Oh, is it Smitty's?
I think it's part of that
Okay.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I didn't know
It's
that.
off of 100 Road, right?
Yeah. He's got two locations.
For the old tea shacks.
Yep. Right there on off the interstate.
I've been there.
It's solid too.
Solid?
There's not. I mean, I go to all of them, so you know.
Yeah, they're not super
They're
expensive
all
either.
good. Yeah, they do a good job. They cater a lot too.
Yeah, the beef prices kind of skyrocketed during.
Yeah, I mean, all of them had to have their prices go up.
Yeah, you got to hang out with bangers to eat barbecue nowadays.
Yeah,
All right.
you could go to Salt Lake for $20 all you could eat back in the day, and now that's get you a half a pound for brisket.
That'll get you coleslaw. Holy shit, man.
Get you slapped talking them prices.
You want to get tea for that?
We gotta get you to stop complaining about them rates.
Yeah,
So you got any more hard questions?
yeah.
I'll think of some.
That's a tough man. Yeah, we stepping on toes with that question.
That was the intro. I got to break the ice.
I like
that was
it.
good for you know, yeah, I guess I've taken it for granted being here and, you know, the barbecue's all around, but yeah, but I guess you're right. You know, what's the perspective for guys from out of town? You know, what do they think?
Yeah.
So that's what matters.
That's a good call.
Yeah, a lot of people they get kind of pissed off when they hear that another barbecue spot's opening here in town. I mean,
I'm like, that's just more like, let's go.
Hey, competition is
I mean,
good, man.
That'd be like Austin saying another live music venue. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's
right.
your identity, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Black's open. Like, I'm like, we've been out there for multiple events. I think, what's that group you're with that Rotary or
The Kiwanis?
the Kiwanis meet out there too? So I'm always seeing people out there, and
I
their
think-
barbecue's good. Their sides are good too. I'm like,
I
yeah.
think it too, if you're going to take the risk, and even if you are opening a barbecue spot, you're taking a risk, and you're going to put it there. I mean, they deserve the community support just like everybody else.
For sure.
You know, I mean, I think that's something that we should focus on too. Is these new places, even though they're coming in and doing their thing a little bit different. I mean, that's still something I definitely want to try.
If you're the barbecue capital of the world,
Bring them on.
bring them.
All of
Yeah, I want all. Yeah,
don't
that's
care if
how I
it's a guy
am.
with
I'm
a
like,
pit
bring
back
them
of his
all.
truck, I'm gonna
Let's
support
go.
it.
Well, I mean,
I'm
to your
about
point,
them
I
too.
mean, open up a barbecue restaurant in Lockhart's pretty ballsy.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Pretty bold.
Right, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
What's
that's a destination piece right there.
I heard you were a busy man. My kids said that, you know, I got kids throughout the district, and we saw Alfonso today. We saw Alfonso today.
Must be a guy that looks like me. I'm pretty much a homebody.
He's everywhere.
I'm a homebody.
Well, I saw you say on Facebook, yeah, I'm everywhere this week.
But the rest of the quote said like an old pair of sneakers. No, man, I'll tell you what, in all seriousness, it's just, there's so many honorable organizations, and, you know, sometimes I spread myself out then, but man, how can you not? You know, when, you know, and we share a lot of good boards, man, from the San Marcos Chamber, from the Rotaries, and, you know, even though I'm not on the board, I still support, you know, what these guys do, but man, how can you not participate in that, you know? You know, it's a real honor.
Some of us got to drive 30 minutes just to come hang out with Alfonso. So I understand. It's hard to
And
do.
you know what? I'm gonna call out my Lockhart peeps, because man, there were a lot of invites going out to Lockhart, and man, I'm sad to say that they disappointed me. So you out there that got an invite, you know who you are. I'm not gonna
Yep.
call you out by name on this episode.
Right. Next episode, you better be on here talking on the mic.
There you go.
And y'all doing this monthly?
We do this every third Friday of the month here. The first Friday of the month we have it in San Marcos, and we still got a second Friday and a fourth
Yeah,
Friday.
we got openings. Let us
You
know.
hold up. There's 2 more weeks.
got
Alfonso's
openings.
gonna find a way to fill that time.
What are some like places? I always see people talking about like places that they would like to open up in Lockhart. Like I always hear like Chili's thrown around, but
Chili's.
I feel like
That thing's
Lockhart's a
fast
little
food.
yeah.
Get the baby back ribs.
I don't know. What are like some places that you would like? Your favorites that you would like to see like open up in Lockhart or?
Maybe not a restaurant, James, but I'd like to see maybe like a YMCA.
That'd be nice.
You know, something that, you know, for the kids, somewhere to go to hang out. I think
Somewhere to go
that's-
dance.
That's what I like to see. Yeah.
I like that the THRC, the Health and Rocket
Oh,
Club.
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
that's a
Yep.
nice spot. They got
Yep.
the basketball court inside. And all
Oh yeah,
that.
they got it. That place is massive, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I used to go there when I started working at San Marcos, and pretty legit gym. I like it.
It is.
Yeah.
I always think of like a skating rink as well, stuff like that. For me, I'm like, man, and I'm fine with the Chili's. And at the end of the day, sometimes you're like, oh, Chili sounds corporate and whatever, but it's usually a local person that's, you know, the franchisee. Then you got all the people that they're employing, so it still works out. But at halftime, I'm like, man, what do you want to do? I'm like, yeah, start that up. Let's support that. Like, you live in Lockhart, you want a business. I'm like, what do you do? Let's do it. You know, so for me, that's what I like to see. I like when the community starts throwing up their stuff, because at the end of the day, I love if people come into town. I'm not taking them to Chili's. I'm taking them to Blacks, or I'm taking them to one of the local places. Like
dumpiest restaurant I can find with good food.
This started here, right? Yeah, it's like in this little hole in the wall over here. This shit's banging though. Yeah, that's where I want to go. So
It's funny you bring that up. I don't have any kids, but I'm thinking just if I did have kids and being a parent, and some of the things that have gone away when you just brought up skating.
yeah,
I'd want to take my kids to go skate. I'd want to hang out with other family and watch my kids go skate,
Yep.
and they might appreciate that because I went and took them there, and it's something it's just going away.
Yeah.
And what other ideas are like that you could bring on back?
yeah.
It's
Well,
not
Hat
vintage
Creek was
yet.
super awesome for about 2 months. Hat Creek came in. We were there every day because it was the first place with a playground. You go hang out
Playground
with
and
kids.
beer.
And then all of a sudden it's like, dude, I cannot eat Hat Creek again. Someone else get a McDonald's, bring the playground back.
But it had the playground, and now you can't jump in the balls anymore. I mean, that was the best thing. Just jumped on in there. I suppose it's not sanitary.
You got to dodge the syringes, man. That's what it is.
San Marcos and Lockhart are really similar in that
yeah.
there's not a ton of places for families.
There isn't.
And it kills me being in San Marcos and having a family and not being able to
Makes it tough.
travel to New Braunfels,
Yeah.
For something. And it's like, I don't want to do that. So
You have to hang out with
Something
Justin all the time now.
yeah, something to keep up with, as y'all are growing. Really think about that and what you can do as a community to support some of those new places.
I grew up in San Marcos, and I think was it Sunset Lanes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
they're
still
I
rolling.
have so many memories.
Oh, I
from
still-
over there,
yeah,
and then
love
I'd
Sunset.
walk right down, and we'd ride our bikes to the skating rink that was
Yep.
right up there. It's got a meat market now.
At the
or something
meat market,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think stuff like that.
I knew I liked that place for a reason.
Yeah,
It wasn't just the tacos.
we were just talking about them a minute ago.
I found
Yeah.
out that it was a skating rink.
Yeah, man. I had so many memories there, and I think places like that, because something for the kids to, like you said, not get in trouble and to make sure that they could go places that are still being watched. Or still
Dude, I spent hours and hours at the skating rink.
out for sure.
Yeah.
My mom would drop me off at like noon, and like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Come down back. She'd be up. I'm like, okay.
Don't come till they turn the music off.
Right.
Well, growing up, I mean, my babysitter was YMCA. That's where my parents dropped me off.
Man,
for
love
summer.
the Y.
Then then I got a season pass. They dropped me off at
Is that
$80 season
cue
pass. Maybe.
the village
I
people?
got dropped off every day at Wet Wild and Six Flags. Dropped off and picked up, and it was safe. It was
Well,
fun.
it
But
could have
you
been
keep the money
worse.
here.
Could have been in our family. We were just dropped off.
Well, there's laws.
But we
man.
kept coming back, say, oh, hell, we'll keep them.
You think
They've got a climbing gym there in San Marcos now. And since we've been going there, man, that place is packed all the time
Oh,
with
nice.
kids.
I haven't even tried that out yet. I want to get over there.
Dude, they love it, man. Turner, our kids, man.
My daughter's been
love it.
Armadillo Boulder.
Armadillo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
give them a shout out.
And I hope this comes out
Maybe I'll get a discount.
appropriate. But we're talking about children's stuff, and I look at my friend across the table, John Hardy, who's got him and his family got the biggest heart. They've adopted so many children. How many, John, have you adopted?
3.
I tried to take one of them home, man.
Man,
They're the cutest things ever.
Feels like 12, but 3. Okay.
I mean, you know how it is.
We got 4 kids. We adopted 3.
I mean, you know how it is raising your own, but then you're adopting somebody else, man. That
Right.
takes a lot, John,
Yep.
and I always appreciate that about you.
And the fostering along the way, which takes a
tough.
big heart too.
That's tough. That's a tough one too, because you're like, whew.
Well, it's like everything else. Once you go down this road, you're just kind of there, and it just
Yeah.
just
You
go
got-
with
you
the
got
flow, and
room-
it's what it's
You
there.
got room for one more? Come on. A little bit on the used side, got a lot of mileage.
Two more. I got a 9-year-old for you.
Personally, I think I'm a tax write-off. So
Man, the good Lord put you where He needs to put you.
Alfonso, we got a Melanie in the chat. She said Fernando is on his way shortly.
Well, we're waiting on him because, I don't have any
Bring
Lockhart
it.
representatives here. Come on
Alfonso
now.
was talking about Fernando earlier. We'll see if he shows up. It'd be good to meet him.
Yeah, you should.
Do you think how you mentioned and Steven also, like, parents used to just drop you off and pick you up? You think that's, I don't know, maybe it's like frowned upon nowadays, or if it's still like the safe thing to do these days?
I'm dropping my kid off and leaving.
Yeah. I think we just need more opportunities to do that.
Yeah.
What's available we don't want to do, but if we had a skating rink or those things, we're like, yeah, I'd still do
when you drop
that.
them off, it's a safe place.
Yeah.
They're going in.
You
they're
feel good
staying in
about it?
until you get there.
Well, the
and-
problem, like, we drop ours off at the climbing thing over there we were, and they told us he's not old enough. Just get dropped off.
yeah.
I'm like, he's good. He's there all day long, like, not all day long, but I mean, an hour or 2 hours. I mean, he has a great time, and there's a lot of opportunities for that out there if you really get engaged in places, but it's hard to find them.
And it's not like you're going to drop them off and leave them. I mean, if we as parents, we're still around, and we're aware, so.
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
the big
it's
thing is
not quite the same. Where like my parents would just kick me out and say, when the street lights come on,
back.
you
little
be back
different.
for dinner. You know.
And why'd that change?
Uh,
I don't know.
Cell phones.
I think it's just
Social
information.
media,
I
money.
think it's just social media information so much that everybody thinks
You
that
know
those
more.
situations are
You
drastic
think you know
now, and
more,
it's-
right?
People watch Dateline way too much.
Exactly.
I
think-
remember, I remember the first time someone asked me if I wanted some candy to get in that car, and I said no.
Seems like TikTok is becoming the Bible to it.
Giving them a candy,
I
right?
ask you now, and was it still no?
Well, let's figure it out.
I feel like that with home security systems.
Is that
I'm
king
like,
size?
man, that makes you just feel like you got to lock the door, shut the windows, and like if anybody
out.
knocks on the door, you're scared. I'm like, I don't like that shit.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
like,
like it either.
I'm like, I'm okay. You knock on my door, I want to go say, hey, what's up?
We'll
Yeah.
get it.
My friends are right there because there's all the bikes. I know where to go.
That's why we got to ring. Why are you knocking on my door?
I don't need to call. Right around, see where the bikes are piled up. That's where I'm stopping.
Right.
I mean, if
Speak,
somebody
you can knock
knocks,
on the
it's either Amazon or somebody trying to sell you solar. So
the solar guys,
generator.
they're on it, trying to help us out. You know.
Hey, Jaime,
It's for the kids.
why don't you come say a few words, man? You're lingering. That ain't fair. You're lingering out in the shadows. You got a lot of things to announce. I mean, didn't we just have a nephew?
my mind though, so
He's on vacation mode.
I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
he's
I
headed
can't
to
hear
the
you.
Caribbean.
I said I'm having a good time where I'm at, just hanging out with a bunch of guys, what I call heavy hitters. So I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna enjoy it back over here.
We walk the bases more than we hit heavy. So, you know,
Hey.
we're taking easy.
Right, we'll take it. Whatever we got to do to get on.
hit by pitch.
I'm definitely enjoying myself. So.
Al used to manage the what was it, the basketball back in the day?
Oh man, yeah, I did a 3-on-3.
Yeah.
street
What was it
basket-
called? It was called,
it was the b-ball battle.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I was a
Because-
kid, we did a bunch of
Is that in
3-on-3
the
tournaments.
and one days or what?
Well, what's that?
And one, you remember the and one days?
Oh
The
yeah.
street ball?
Hot sauce, the professor.
The professor, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot sauce.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of had our own little kind of personalities in our community. But yeah, that was some fun times. I mean, and it's one thing. What's nice to see is that we would bring in the community, and man, all these kids would show up, and we'd put goals all over the streets. I mean, it was a sight to behold.
That's cool.
You know, yeah, that was nice. And Jaime always reminds me that. So this happened. We would do it during the Chisholm Trail Roundup, which is the second week of June, right? Pretty much the hottest time of the year. And they would dread, and he would tell me this. I mean, I never really thought about it. He said, "Man, I would dread coming June. Let's go, man. Time to paint those goals. Time to rebuild them." In the heat of the day, you know. But I don't remember those days.
I do.
But yeah, great time, James. Thank you for
Yeah.
calling.
Yeah, I remember those. I remember he used to always be on the court.
Well, you know, we played a little round ball here and there.
Now you're always on the pavement, hitting the streets.
Yeah, pretty much. Talking lip like you know, like you did on the. We still have a saying in b-ball battle. He said, would say, "Quit your talking from the bench and do the talking on the court." You know, and boy, that was a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got my boys are. I got two that are going to junior high next year, and then one that's going to 7. So he's gonna start playing basketball. So we've been on the court 4 or 5 times a week, just balling.
That's what
And
it
it's
takes.
good for me because it keeps me on my toes, keeps me busy, keeps me in shape. I'm pretty big on. I know a lot of people my age that are just. I mean, I always say I want to be able to tie my shoes when I'm 60, 65, 70. You know.
Yep.
So.
When you're 45.
Hey, 65
able
is
to find
young
my
now.
shoes.
Yeah, that's young.
Hey, we're the same pair, man. Same shoe.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So yeah, I feel like it's important to stay active and get out there and all that, especially for the kids and whatnot.
Well, you're looking at a fine example right here of people that are active and being good examples in community. And so,
You want to plug your event?
Yeah, so we're having a military appreciation event next Saturday at Chuck Nash. We have a bunch of vendors lined up. I think we're raffling off a couple coolers, oil changes, things like that. Since it was Military Appreciation Month, we just want to make sure we could kind of fit that in before it kind of went out. We had, I think, Little League was tomorrow, so I think we switched it to the next weekend. But if anybody has some time, come on over. Again, there's no charges or anything like that. If there's vendors, they want to come talk about their business, they're in the community, come on out, and we'd love to set you up a table and come talk to us for a little bit. A couple hours long, we'll have refreshments, hot dogs.
Yeah.
I should have some more barbecue, I'm hoping, but we'll kind of get that next weekend.
You're not cooking, are you?
No. We're our barbecue capital. We'll get some good barbecue.
Y'all finished all that construction out there too, right? Y'all have had a lot going on.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. But we're up and running, and I'm excited to kind of get some people to move in. and start kind of coming to the lot for kind of meeting us, get our faces out there, that kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
Trying to get some asses in cars or what?
Well, I mean, I just want to talk to people. That's it. That's always the goal.
Well, recently it's been cars for asses.
Yeah.
Right, trying to find the cars for them.
Yeah, it's
That's
been
really
difficult.
What it is. Inventory's been rough lately, but we'll figure it out.
When in doubt, it's the chips.
Yep.
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 Why is that? It just happens or?
Oh, just manufacturing. A lot of times they're producing a lot of vehicles that don't have like the GPS always set up, or the heated seats don't work, because they don't have the chips that are coming in, and they're outsourcing that in a couple months. Come back in.
That's
we'll
tough,
get it
yeah.
working. So it's a hard sale, but I mean, everybody's in the same situation too.
Right.
So
It's not like,
it's not like
just y'all. Yeah, exactly.
But it's starting to get a little normalized. The inventory's coming back, prices are coming down, and what goes up comes down.
Yep.
Everybody knows that. So.
I want to drive that.
Yeah, then we can get a burnout
just
out of it.
start-
Chevelle over there.
Right?
I like
That's
that
nice.
background
What do you say, a
noise.
66 Chevelle?
I don't know, man. That don't have
Oh,
AC in the
man.
seats, though.
It doesn't need
I
it.
don't
AC
think I'll care if I'm driving that.
Yeah. You go AC in the seats, you don't go back.
Man, and a two-door?
Yeah, you don't find two doors much anymore.
Hard top, man. That's nice.
Yeah, but that thing's definitely got heated seats.
Nice. Wish I had that thing in high school.
Man, oh.
I'm telling y'all that. Y'all really, I think I wish I had that in high school. I wouldn't be the man I am today. I don't think I had the pleasure of being at this podcast right now.
I wonder if it's electric.
I'm sure it's hybrid.
EV.
Solar?
Yeah.
Maybe
Sound
solar.
Keep you guessing.
Definitely solar.
Right. Now, what if it needs an electric car charger?
Have you heard that that some of these electric vehicles that are newer race cars that have the noise coming
Yeah.
through the speakers now?
Yeah.
So they can sound like you're driving
Yeah.
in a V8,
Huh?
but
Yeah.
you're actually
That is
electric.
just wrong.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. You don't feel it though, just hear the sound.
Well, you know,
over
they're
and
trying to
over.
save the world, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, well.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I think California, they want to stop manufacturing fuel operated cars by like 5 or 10 years or something like that.
2032.
Yeah.
I think the small engines I think they've outlawed those. They're
Yeah.
phased out, I think. And
Generators, lawnmowers, any of that stuff. They've already new sales of them. They're all electric now. And
Diesel engines, I mean the 6.2 gas engines, they're putting them in less and less vehicles every year. So I mean, unless something,
they
once
call
something crazy happens politically, I think something
Yeah.
that'll change back.
yeah, I think they call those small engines like the super polluters or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
I mean, all every one of them's got like a big old white smoke coming out the back of it. It's like, or even weeding if you don't have smoke coming out the back.
There's
That is true, right?
there's nothing just like getting in a vehicle like a old muscle car and just cranking it up.
Even like an old diesel, man. I didn't think diesel sound like they used to. I remember a good, 82 Ford F-250, or 350, and you come in, you just hear it from the other side of the lot.
You can feel the
Just
vibrations.
feel it and I love it,
Dude, I had a 69 Chevrolet short wide bed pickup truck in high school, all hot rodded out. That thing was a blast in high school.
My first was an 86 Firebird. I took the headers off because why not? And I was running down the road and all the cops coming in like, hey, bro, you can't be doing that.
Oh yeah, man! You turn the key off, pump the gas a little bit, turn it back on. Man, it was looking nice fire show.
Well, I mean, I guess what kind of woman do you want? Is a Tesla going to be the same thing that a hot rod car that shakes and just rouses, has all that power in it? Is it going to bring the same girl that you want?
No, I
You
was
want
like,
only
be a
problems
fun
or no
night?
problems?
Well, yeah, I was
Those
gonna say,
Teslas will
you gotta be
scream
careful with
that.
that subject, Matthew.
I want my grocery barbecue. Not to be.
I'm still a gas guy over here, so I know what I brought home.
Well, I got to leave, gentlemen, but I just wanted to give a little shout to Pam Health. If you need your outpatient needs in Lockhart, we got you covered so you don't have to drive all the way to Austin or wherever else. And also just as a resource, I work there, so I like to help people with health care in general. You don't have to come to me, but if you come to Pam Health in Lockhart, ask for Matthew. I will give you helpful advice to help you and what you need and what you got going on, insurances and all that. I don't deal with any of that. I don't make any money off of it, but I like to help people because my family have been in some tough times in healthcare, and I didn't know anything about it. But now that I work in healthcare, I like to help whoever I can help. So, and I appreciate y'all letting me be on the podcast with y'all as well. So it was a good time for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Next
investing
time
in
I
Lockhart.
want to stay a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm sold out. I love Lockhart. So San Marcos, Lockhart, love them both. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Nice meeting
anything
you.
we can do. Appreciate y'all.
Third Friday of the month.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think I'm about to follow your lead, man. I got them kids I got to get home to here.
It's nice meeting y'all guys.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having us out here, man. This is great, man. We'll love to do it again and
Yeah.
maybe stay a little longer next time. So thanks for putting all this together, Alfonso, and it's been great.
It's all James here, man. James.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
I
you
told
guys.
him you to listen in on this, and these guys have they have a lot of solutions.
Heck
You
yeah,
know,
man.
we
Heck
just
yeah.
got to kind of monetize it, I guess.
No, you got to stay over there so you're better on camera. You're trying to bring the attractiveness up of this entire group.
So, just so you know, David was given the award for the was it the
Corporate Citizen
Corporate
of the
Citizen
Month.
of
Oh, no, year. Sorry, year.
the Yeah, sorry, yeah, of the year.
Not to short sell you.
And don't let him fool you. He's a humble guy, but I'll tell you what, David's probably the example to all of us and being involved in community.
You can use that.
Set a good example. You know, big heart. You know, we're very fortunate to have him not only in San Marcos, but now he's in Lockhart.
Well, I'd
So-
just like to inform you that I was actually the youngest person to win that award of Corporate Citizen of the Year in San Marcos.
We stand corrected.
Youngest.
Yet to be beat.
How young?
Well, a young 40 at the time. Maybe a 41.
I'm coming for you.
I know you
I'm
are.
working on it.
I know you are.
Yeah, Justin's right.
I just
behind.
try to emulate you.
I try to just take you out to dinner. Just take you out to dinner. Slow you down a little bit.
Yeah.
I saw some. We'll just run through a couple of topics. I was driving the other day and I noticed the baby on board sign on the thing, and it just got me thinking. I was like, I wonder if anybody sees those stickers and are like, oh, let me drive more cautiously. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're kind of useless, you know? Because, I mean, you should be driving safe at all times on the road,
Right.
but I just don't think that anybody sees those and they're like, oh, okay, let me slow down a little bit, let me do this.
You got to be pretty close to read one of those. Usually I just see them at the stoplights when I'm already stopped,
Yeah.
and so I'm not sure that really helps.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
in San Marcos, we got Drive Like Your Kids Live Here.
Oh, yeah.
I see those.
Yeah.
But I don't have kids.
Well, I like the one that says don't drive too close because I have a gun. You know, that kind of creates a little distance. You know.
Yeah, most definitely.
I just avoid 35
At all costs.
at all costs.
At all costs.
It was a mess today. I think an 18-wheeler rolled over and they had it shut down for like, I want to say like 4 or 5 hours. Like,
Yeah.
no lie. So it was a mess over there.
Yeah, it's becoming pretty typical now.
Well, hey, we're talking about bumper stickers. So my colleague at work, I walked to work the other day and I saw the back of her car and she says, the bumper sticker says, get up my ass, you're not my wife. Or I'm not your wife. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? So I had to go in there and talk to her about that. She goes, it's fine. But you think you know? I'm like, whoa, okay. You got that sticker on your car. And I'll just leave it at that.
I was
It
laughing.
was just getting good, David.
I can-
It was just getting good. It was just getting good.
I can
leaning
verify.
over.
I can verify he walks to work and from work because I was picking up my son from elementary school and we saw him walking back from his office and I tried so hard to get my son to heckle him and he just wouldn't do it. So apparently I'm doing something right and he's not taking after me because I would have heckled him.
You walk to work?
I'm like a walking billboard. Put my steps in.
That's good.
How long is
Yeah.
the walk?
It's only half a mile. But it's becoming pretty treacherous lately. It's about to get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to ask. You doing it after work too?
Well, I'm trying to do it just in the mornings, but work gets in the way.
So I got a question. It seems like, I mean, a lot of you have something in common about working for the community and being involved in the community. If you have people that you think, or what would be some advice to give someone that wants to kind of take some of them steps? Like, what do you think the first steps to get involved with someone that's really not in there? Who do you think you get in touch with? Where would you start looking at for stuff like that?
You know, for me in San Marcos, and I think this definitely applies to Lockhart as well, it's finding an organization that you're kind of passionate about. Like in our community, there's quite a few organizations that help children. The Greater San Marcos Youth Council, CASA of Central Texas. There's a handful of those that really benefit things that people are passionate about. There's tons of organizations out there, and if you can get involved on a board of some kind, you can make a difference. And as you get involved in those boards, you can find other causes that you might be more passionate about and other things that you can get involved in.
Hey, John.
And really, it's just kind of knowing what's going on locally. I feel like there's a lot of disconnect. And when something happens, people are frustrated about it. But if you can get in on the front end and kind of understand what's going on by being involved in these organizations, there's so much overlap. So you really you learn what's going on and how you can make a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, for me, you couldn't say it better yourself on what you just said there. But I think it's taking the initiative just to go ask how you can be involved, just to approach that organization. I remember, 41 now, but I remember my 25, earlier. You felt intimidated to go up there and just ask, how can I be involved to talk to that organization? And now being a little bit older, you're just hoping more people ask, who wants to be involved? And you don't know who wants to be involved, so you don't know who to go after to try to get more people involved. Volunteering is something that's kind of fallen off, and I think that's, I said earlier, we're only as good as the community we serve. This is a village. This is our village, and we need to participate in our village to make it the best place we can. When you talk about some people with the streets and stuff like that going a different way, going south, well, they're going south, but in a way that also helps their community if they did it a different way. They're supporting their group that they know how to support at that time. Why not redirect that energy into positive energy? So we all got the mindset that we want to build a better community. It's just build it the right way versus being redirected the wrong way. That's how I kind of look at it. But I would say just go ask. Don't be afraid to go ask, because those people who want you in that organization are ready to reciprocate that at the same time. They just want you to ask, because it's almost a taboo thing to go out there and like, hey, I need you to do this. I want you to do this, because no one wants to be that person. They want you to.
I can understand that for sure, because I can remember when I was, 25, 26, first starting the family.
Well, that
doing
wasn't
that
too
kind of
long
stuff.
ago.
Like me going to say Mr. Cisneros, like his father, and being like, hey, what can I help with? That wasn't something that was on top of my mind. I would like to help, but it wasn't something like, oh, he's not going to want me to help, that type of mentality. Yeah. But, I mean, obviously now that I'm older, I understand, like, hell, everybody wants help, man.
And
everybody wants something.
Stephen, and sometimes it happens organically, and it's just a matter of, if that's your desire to want to help the community, you take that first step and, find an organization. And to me, it's like find somebody that's like-minded, whether it's a friend, to say, hey, who are you involved with? I'm so-and-so. You get involved, and then just kind of, grab the bull by the horns, man. I mean, just go in there and feel that passion and go with it. I can tell you, I'm on the board of directors for the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce. And to me, David, you talk about intimidation. I mean, I was an outsider coming into this group of San Marcos guys, and I'm a Lockhart guy. It's like, I'm asking myself, like, what the hell am I doing here? But once, I would feel welcome, I said, you know what? Apparently they asked me for a reason. And I just kind of say, hey, I'm going to do what I know what to do, and throw some ideas out there, and maybe some will grow favor, some will not. But they feel genuinely, if you really want to help, they pick that up. That's my recommendation.
Yeah,
if that's what you want to do, find a friend that's involved in something and just do it, man. Just do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't know at first if he was willing to help. We didn't know where this guy was coming from. He had so much energy, so much just passion for the community. And then, you figured out it's genuine. He genuinely wants to help. And I think we just need to find more people like that. That's going to make our communities grow. And I think it's a new generational thing where we just need to rebuild this thing up to support our communities. I mean, more fun to volunteer, just to help out.
That's one of those.
That's an electric car, right?
Yeah.
It's coming through the speakers right there.
It's a hybrid.
I was going to say, you were on the board when he started. I'm on the board with him now. And if we would take 1,000 board members, that are that passionate about everything else, and the perspective you bring on regionalism is warranted for sure. We really appreciate that. The other thing I'll add is, I think both of us serve on city boards. The cities are always trying to get people involved on these boards where you can make a little bit of a difference without a huge time commitment, right? And you get a say in what's going on locally. They're always looking for people to serve on these boards. And I mean, you're probably more involved than I am on boards. Mine meets when it's needed, so we only meet every once in a while. But
so what was that drive, though, Justin? What was that drive that initially got you, say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is where my passion is at.
I mean, it's growing up in the community, or being in the community, and knowing that you have roots there, and that you want to say in what's going on, because if I'm going to raise my kids in a community, I want to make an impact on what it might look like as they grow up in it, and that makes a big difference. And I think we're losing a bit of that. And so I felt pushed to do that. But it was also serving on some of the nonprofit boards, that it was like, all right, the community, the cities need some folks that have opinions and want to be involved to make a difference. And so that's kind of what pushed me that direction. And just trying to grow up to be someone like Alfonso over here.
Absolutely.
When I grow up.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it in my mindset, because I came to James a few weeks ago and we talked about like positions in the community and in the future, and I think it's just because whenever I graduated from here, like I just wanted to get out. Let's go to college, go live life. Once I had a family, we moved out to Dale. We've been there for about a couple years now, and it kind of got to the point where it's like I'm proud of being from Lockhart, and I want my kids to be proud of being from this area. Anywhere I go, I'm not one of those people who's like, hey, I'm from Austin or San Marcos. Like, I am from Lockhart, Texas. Everybody asks me, where's that at? And I'm ready to say it, but I think it's just being proud for where you came from. And I want my kids to feel the same way.
And sharing that love that you have for your community, and take it outside of your sphere. I think that's probably what's the most intimidating thing. It's like saying, man, I'm comfortable here, right?
Exactly. No,
But
that's
and we talked about it earlier, James, about growing, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. And I'll tell you what, you step out of your community in a whole strange community. I mean, you step in a comfort zone, but then you gravitate to people that are like-minded like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. You find like-minded folks and you see what they're interested in, and it's just natural.
And I think it's something that I put my toe in it within the last year or so, and then I got a lot of feedback from the community saying, hey, we like this, I like that. And really that's kind of what drove me to that conversation, because it was inspiring, because like, man, these people were supporting me. It's not really like a competition, or it's not like, something that I created in my head. It was like, oh, it's nothing but support and love. And I mean, hell, what more do you want to ask for from there,
And you guys have a big platform right here, James. You guys, I mean, there's a responsibility that comes with that. And I'm glad you mentioned your children, man, your kids, because they look up to us, right? And it's we're the example. And how you're going to give back, they're going to follow that example. So I'm always trying to be cognizant of that. And not even that, but among my peers as well. It's like, you don't. If you want them to do something, you got to be willing to do it yourself, and don't expect anything more than what you're willing to do. And I think that's kind of the credo that I was raised with. It's like,
be that role model.
Yeah, certainly, and in many walks of life, not just not just in your volunteerism, but just in your anything you do.
And I would say leaving this will sound a little weird, but leaving a community for a little while, I think you appreciate where you came from.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like folks I meet from Lockhart that have been here for a little while, and then left and went somewhere, and then really appreciate where they came
The
from.
hometown feel.
Yeah, and that's that's what I want in San Marcos, and I know that's what y'all want here as well. Is I want my kids to be like, oh yeah, I'm from San Marcos, and be proud of where they came from, even though it might take them a little while to realize how good they might have had it.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, man.
I find myself telling my kids all the time how spoiled they are, just because they got stuff that it wasn't available to me. And I mean, just parenting these days is kind of crazy, because one instance, everybody has a cell phone, and we got a lot of kids. We can't necessarily afford a cell phone for everybody, but the fact that they go to school and they're like, yeah, today was test day and everyone was done with their tests, so everybody got to play on their phone. And I'm like, well, I got a cell phone when I had a job and I was able to buy one. But I know that times change and all that stuff, and I mean, it's raising kids now I feel like it's tough.
Is it having? Is raising kids tough? Raising kids, grandkids, is it tough?
Grandkids.
I can't hear you, man. You gotta step up here to the mic.
Got a spot right here.
We got a spot for you.
No, it is kind of tough, but it's got its pluses and minuses. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you gotta love them.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing in life that ain't worth it. That ain't tough.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, where's the whistle?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of children, Justin, tell us a little about yourself and your personal life and, your family, man.
My kids, it's a lot of work. That's one of the things that Gosh, I used to think my job
Takes a
was.
lot of work.
Yeah, I used to think my job was stressful, and then you look forward to going to work on Monday, where you can decompress from raising kids, because you just feel so much pressure of raising them correctly and making sure you're being the best version of yourself for them to look up to. God, the stress associated with that makes work feel real easy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Justin, it's so amazing how you can go from hero to zero in one day, man. You know,
Yeah.
A
It's like-
day?
Yeah.
It's like 5
10
minutes.
minutes. 10
Well, mine are a
minutes.
little older, so
Oh,
back
no.
time's a little longer.
No, I'm looking forward to them being a little older, where I'm just zero for like years and years and years, and then they'll look back and be like, you know, my dad was probably pretty cool. Maybe he knew what he was talking about. I figured that'll be 25 or maybe a little older.
Yeah, that'll happen.
That's about when I realized my dad was kind of cool and maybe knew what he was talking about a little bit. You know,
Maybe.
maybe, yeah.
I think mine's about a preteen, so I think like I was her hero she was my number one fan, like cheerleader when I got home. She's 11 now, about to be 12, but she's turning into a teenager, so I kind of feel like I'm not as cool anymore. You know, I'm not as like that anymore, but it's gonna be a couple years, and I know she'll come back. Like she'll be
she
back.
propped you up so high that,
I
you know.
I know, bro.
You gotta hold that standard, man.
You go down now.
You want a ridiculous kid story from this week? Just a parent just struggling. My son lost a tooth Wednesday night, right at bedtime.
That's a good one.
Scrambled around. We didn't have any cash in the whole house. No
What a
cash.
parent. What a
no
parent
cash.
you
I
are.
wasn't gonna leave my credit card under his pillow. So ran to the bank. Debit card wouldn't work. Couldn't get cash out of the ATM. System issue. The whole thing. Wrote him an IOU from the tooth fairy. Yeah. So he showed up at the bank the next day to pick up his $2 bill from the tellers that the tooth fairy left. Oh yeah. So,
My daughter lost hers. She lost one last year, and the same situation. We live out in Dale, so I'm not driving 25 minutes to get to an ATM before
Teeth get
the middle of
lost
the
in
night.
Dale, don't they?
So we have her put it in under her pillow, and I sneak in there at about 3 a.m, and I grab it and I put it on the side of her bed. And she wakes up in the morning, she's like, it's gone. I'm like, well, let's go look for it. So we go in there, we start looking for it. It's on the side of your bed. She probably couldn't find it. I heard someone here last night. And I was like, that's probably her. You know, she'll come back in tomorrow. She's like, cool. So she left her 20 the next day. But
God, I should have called you.
20?
That would have been a lot easier.
Boy, talk about different times.
Yeah, if there wasn't no cash on hand, I'd be like, I don't think you brushed that one good enough. I don't think it was worth anything.
you got a couple quarters? A couple quarters in here?
We thought about raiding his piggy bank, but I felt guilty. Even more guilty than the IOU.
Give him his money. Give him his own money back. Yeah, my son, he's 12. And is he 12? Yeah, he is
For
12.
the sake of conversation, he's 12.
It's 12.
Yeah. He'll actually be 12 in October, but he's at that stage and he just I am everything. I am the president. And you know, so I spend a lot of time with him and you know, doing stuff, but you know, I told him, you know, I'm like, man, you know, like I'm gonna enjoy this now because you're not always gonna be, you know, want to hang out with your friends and all that stuff. And it's crazy because I'm able to see that now at the age that I'm at, and looking at how I grew up and stuff. So, gosh, I don't know, man. Just lately, I just turned 34, and lately I just find myself like just thinking about time and how fast time goes by, and that nothing like this moment here, you know, it's you know, sooner or later we'll be all at our homes, you know, and be able to watch it or whatever, but it's just time is just, it's just so short, you know, and
Precious, man. It's
yeah,
precious.
and so how you spend your time is very important, and you know, nothing's guaranteed, and so you try to do what you can with what you have, you know. And it's just, I mean, it's life, you know, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
That's kind of the philosophy of our cigar club, isn't it? I mean, just to be able to just sit down and just for a couple hours and do what we're doing here, just kind of sharing our lives, and, you know, probably come up with a couple of businesses here and there, you know, but
what I wonder is, how's the pitch to the wife? Hey,
I just say, hey, do you know how cool Alfonso is? I gotta hang out with that guy. If I can get a minute with that guy, I'm gonna go do it. Sorry, honey, but no, it's one of those things where a lot of us a lot of us work on boards and stuff with each other, and we never get the chance to just hang out socially and kind of catch up a little bit, and having that connection with other people that share passions, where you can, make personal connections, makes making an impact in your community a little bit easier, because even if you disagree on something, they're a good person. They want what's best for the community, even though you might differ on your opinions. Having that personal connection where it's like, no, they're a good person. We might disagree on this, and I feel like that's such something that's missing in our world today. Is if you disagree on something, then y'all have to be at opposite ends.
Yeah.
Where we can all disagree on something on a board, and then right afterwards be like, no, we're all good. We might have saw something differently, but yeah, being able to connect where it's like, all right, we all want what's best for whatever organization or community we're working for. If we disagree, it's just different viewpoints.
Yeah.
And so that's why we started this, was to get together and sort of take the boards and all that stuff out of it, and just kind of get to know each other personally.
And we've been pleasantly surprised, I would say.
We're bona fide. We've been vetted by our wives. We're allowed to hang out.
So you were saying, what was the pitch?
Yeah.
I really didn't use much of a pitch. Well, my wife she just needs to know where I'm at. And, I always tell her, hey, this is part of what I do. Our job is try to get people together and get our communities. And you got to kind of pitch it to where it can't be rejected. I guess that's salesmanship.
Yeah, I mean,
hell yeah.
My pitch was that I'd be home by 5:30, and it's 6:30, and I still have 30 minutes home.
Might get a little dent there, yeah.
No, I know my wife's volunteering tomorrow all day for a organization, so I got a lot of time with the kids tomorrow while she's giving back. So if I can hang out and make some connections tonight, we kind of trade off a little bit.
She's probably not going to be smoking cigars.
No.
Now David's wife's a different story.
She's the director of Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
I didn't think he was married.
Yeah, no, I'm married up.
He's very married.
It's because he looks so cool right now, like Miami Vice.
It's because he's
over
married.
there.
That's why
He's
he looks
definitely
so
cool. He's got hair.
My wife's from Gonzales. She got my number. I'm an old city boy from Arlington. Yeah, I know where my place is.
I'm a city boy too, Dallas area.
I had an uncle tell me one time to never do a girl from Gonzales bad, because you never know what might happen.
She says that too. They got a lot of land. And I'm like, all right.
They got that. They don't have come and take it for nothing, Yeah.
I mean, I took it.
I realized as I said it that I'm from Dallas, and that's like a Lockhart person saying they're from Austin, which made me feel really guilty for my hometown. So I'm not going to call that out now.
Hey, different story 10 years ago though.
Is it important, like, I'm sure you guys got married, years before, or actually I'm not sure, is it important to have, like, a spouse that is also engaged in the community, or, kind of on the same page as you,
No.
It would be nice.
My wife does not like people. She doesn't like people.
She barely likes you?
Yeah, she barely likes me. She's an introvert.
Hey, that's all he needed was a bear.
Exactly.
Bear is enough, right? Right, David?
We're both introverts, so something like this is way out of my wheelhouse, or serving on boards is way out of my wheelhouse, and I kind of have to just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to fake it.
She's already made it.
Yeah, she's made it. But she's gotten, it's funny, as I've gotten involved in the community, she's gotten dragged in by friends, and so that's where she got tied in. Unfortunately for her,
She's got a great personality.
Well, no, that's why I married her. Yes, thanks, David.
So if you're an introvert, why did you choose to be out there, put yourself out there, and be on boards and stuff like that?
Man, it's one of those things. It's. I think if you put yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, you get a little more comfortable with it. And I've just kind of grown up around. I mean, I was such an introvert in college. I went and worked at Ocarina Springs. I drove glass bottom boat tours.
Ooh.
I hated talking.
That's where I remember you.
That's right. I hated talking to people, so I just threw myself on a a boat and had to talk to 20 people at a time for hours at a time, and I finally just got comfortable enough with it that I can fake it now a little bit. But
He genuinely cares. He's great at it.
Don't believe it. It's a lot of smoke, man. A lot of smoke.
No.
So you know your fish now and all that?
Oh yeah.
That's something original that San Marcos does have. I remember going over there on field trips in elementary school and the glass bottom boat tours. It's actually pretty cool when you're a kid.
It is.
They still have them. As a matter of fact, Wonder World is celebrating their 150th.
100. Is it?
150
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the owner, Kristen, we know very well, very big heart, and she's involved in a lot of boards. I mean, the whole community, James, the whole community, somebody goes, it's, you find the right circle of people, man. They have big hearts. And that's what kind of encourages me, when I step out of here to say, you know what, there's people that think like me, and, they do want to. And so you kind of gravitate to that. And then to answer your question with my wife, well, my wife's, kind of like yours, they're happy. Hey, this is your thing, kind of. Unlike David's wife. Now, David's wife, she's real involved in what she does. But, and after a while, they just kind of feel that, hey, they're involved for some reason. And, once in a while we'll drag them out. But, it's kind of, you just got to respect that, hey, this is what we do. And I'm thankful that I get the freedom to be able to do it. These guys get permission as well, so I think we're grateful for the moments, huh, David?
Well, something I find out every now and then is just, we know what organizations we're involved in, so I call that a bubble. There's lots of other bubbles out there that we're not aware of that are also helping the community at the same time. I mean, there's tons of nonprofits that we just haven't come across. I feel like there's a whole lot more going on in our communities that we were really aware of, and I'm excited about what we do, but I know there's more going on out there too who just don't have a voice at the time, but they're doing something to help our community. And so one good example in San Marcos is a boxing club, a nonprofit out there. I didn't know that until I went to my dentist to get my teeth cleaned. And the person helping
why they're
me,
so white?
They are very clean. He did an excellent job.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Smile for the listeners, David, so they can see it.
Smile for the listeners.
She's like, "What do you do?" And I said something, and she goes, "What are you involved in the community?" I was like, "Well, I do this." And she's like, "Well, my family's involved with this." And I was like, "Well, how cool!" But I did not know that, and how neat that they're with the youth and they're helping these youth grow up in this, this environment that's productive and healthy. And it's boxing. I mean, there's nothing more sound than boxing. I mean, that could teach you so many real life skills. Just the discipline to be a boxer right there, and just the patience and the impact and just follow through. So I'm always humbled by things where there's more out there than we know of than we're talking about, and it's just the community just keeps on helping itself grow.
The other thing is you see like the community events, that 5K. Who put on the 5K? In Lockhart.
The Cinco de Mayo, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, there's so many like events that go on in the community, and I think a lot of people look at it and they just said, "Oh, that happened." There's a bunch of people behind that stuff that made that happen. San Marcos, probably our biggest community event of the year, Sights and Sounds, and that's 100% just volunteer. There's no paid person. The city doesn't do it. It's all volunteers. You've been on that
group.
Y'all are big donors to that. And then you've been on the board forever for something like that. And people just think those events happen, and they just don't. It takes a lot of.
No, that's a yearly.
Yeah,
As soon as
it takes
it's over,
a
y'all
lot
starting
of
up
work.
again. Like it ain't no joke for sure.
Do you run?
Never rest.
And
Do you run also?
No, I don't run, but they let me speak
He runs
at
away.
it.
He runs away.
He's at the finish line.
I'll welcome you. I'll accept you, and I'll send you off, and I'll help you finish. I'm there from the beginning till the end.
And that's true. He says that, jokingly, but that's so true about David. So when I first saw that Sights and Sounds was something that we wanted to be part of, I mean, this guy walking me home. Next thing you know, I'm in the stage with this guy, and we're over here, we're telling jokes,
He's a natural.
But just the welcoming, man. It's like, and then they let me help out with the biscuits. I mean, to me, it was just a great.
The biscuits are the best.
And get this. So now, the Hispanic chambers and other chambers, Pegasus schools they got involved last year, so they're being more. So we're bringing this region closer and closer, even in these events, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's great about it. And to sit back and see that,
And participate, attend. Without attendance, these events can't happen. So You know, people always tell me like, "Oh man, Sights and Sounds got tons of money." I mean, that annual budget's $650,000, and we're close to broke every year. You know, we spend it all, and whatever we have left is going back to the next event, and people just can't understand like, how are you not saving money? Well, it only costs $5 to get in. I mean, what does it cost $5? Now you can spend $15, and you got an 8-day pass. You know.
But did they not used to charge?
It used you brought up a point right there.
Inflation.
And they didn't. They used to not charge, but you know, it's gone from being on 4 acres to now 27 acres. It used to have a budget of probably $75,000. Now it's got, you know, $650,000. To put the lights up itself is $120,000. Everything's just more expensive.
Yeah.
Security, boy, that's no joke. That's $70,000.
And I think too, like Sights and Sounds is a great event. You know, I mean, that's something my kids think about every year. They're like, Sights and Sounds is this week, Dad. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna figure it out. You know, with Thursdays. I try to do Thursdays because it's not as crazy.
But it's generational now.
I mean, I went there when I was a child, and I remember. And my daughter brought up, like, it was like last month. She was like, remember when I saw the Grinch at Sights and Sounds? I was like, hell yeah, I remember.
That was David.
I got the video. Was it really?
No.
No, I was about to say, turn your head this way. But, I mean, shout out to y'all, because Sights and Sounds is a badass event, guys. I mean, especially since I had no idea about budget or anything like that. But, I mean.
Well, most people still think it's a city event. But it is a 501c nonprofit, and the coolest thing is that leadership is changing. It's rolling over with the generations. And when the biggest compliment you get is like, you know, when I was a kid, I was here. Now I'm older, and my kid wants to come here. I mean, it's got the lights, it's got Santa, it's got everything you ever want. It's a true community event.
Yep.
So in Lockhart, if you had to pick one event to
Cinco
come
de
to,
Mayo.
Cinco de
It's
Mayo?
always Cinco de Mayo.
We don't have
Cinco
to
de Mayo-
run, do we?
No.
Oh,
Cinco de
okay,
Mayo is, I
good.
think, the biggest event.
Or
Yeah.
Because I was-
56,
Yes,
56.
56 is big too.
I was going to drop my bandana like every 100 yards and have to go back. To pick
You
it
know
up.
what pissed me off about that story? He still beat me.
I didn't want to bring that up. I was about to bring that up.
Why are you dropping the bandana? I thought it's to find you. Are you showing off?
I just had it in my hand and just slid, man.
Oh.
And I you know, for a moment they said, should I leave it? And I said, no, man, that's my baby.
Well, hey, if y'all see me running an event and you see some bandanas coming out of my pocket, that's because I need y'all to come find me.
Follow the bananas.
That's
Come
a
help me.
trail to
Help-
save
help
my
me.
life.
And you know what's pretty cool? I'm looking at these guys and they look so laid back, don't they? But I tell you what, when these events that they're involved in, James, if you just would see, these are the hardest working guys, you know, at what they do, and that's what's so amazing. You know, they come across as, you know, kind of nonchalant and everything, but I tell you what,
It's
if
goofy.
you're involved with them, these
Goofy.
guys, you better hang on, man, because and we make it fun, man. That's why I enjoy hanging out. These guys make it fun, and that's another key about joining these organizations. Go in there, make it fun. It doesn't have to be
Work.
you know, cut and dry. Yeah, and work, man. I mean,
We have had a 45-minute conversation about volunteering. Y'all, I'm having fun, guys. So I understand it. I get it.
Alfonso, I wanted to talk to you about our little annual Chisholm show roundup that we have. And this is just my opinion. I feel like recently it's just kind of, I feel like you don't get the bang for your buck. You know, I'm not sure how you feel, but I've taken the kids on the cheapest night on a Thursday, and I'm just like, dude, like, I spent a lot of money, man, and, you know, I'm kind of just, like, left, like, you know, like, there wasn't a whole lot. I don't know if you've attended any of the recent years and stuff.
I have, and we sponsor.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel you. I know what you're saying. You know, and of course, I'm not on the inside making the day-to-day decisions, but I can imagine, having been involved in events, it's a lot of work. And in the end, it's a scrapshoot, right? I mean, you hope that you're going to get the attendance and you're going to get the weather. It's going to cooperate.
yeah.
So it's a
Always.
crapshoot. But I will say that, again, you know, what do you do? Do you be part of the solution, or you just stand back
Exactly.
and say? And so we committed to helping them. I mean, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Help. At least you can say, hey, I'm trying to help the situation. And we want all the events to be successful, because in the end, it helps our whole community. So, you know, we definitely try to do what we can. But I always believe that everybody can play a small part.
Yeah.
You can volunteer for an hour or two, and, you know, so it's just, again, it's the philosophy. What do you know, do you sit back and say, hey, it could be better? or do you say, hey, let me go help make it
Yeah,
better?
what are you doing?
I think it's
Yeah.
like you were saying, like, I mean, you got to take that first step and just want to do it. And once, even if you volunteer for an hour, next year you can do a little bit more, and then try to get on the board, and then try to make, your mindset of what you think is important and what you want heard, and make that happen. So,
And you have an appreciation of the hard work that goes behind
Oh,
it,
hell yeah.
right? I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
because it's a lot of work that goes into
Yeah.
these events, man, and you just give an appreciation.
So what happens if you get rained out? You just
They have rain insurance.
oh okay.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hope it works out in your favor, but
And
it's
sometimes
insurance,
it
so
does.
it's not going to.
Sometimes.
It hasn't happened in my lifetime yet.
We had a
That's why I brought up Sights and Sounds, is because it's the same thing. It's like you'll hear people say they don't get their money's worth out of it, and if you know people, and I'm not involved because I know how much it takes to get involved
keep
in that and to
trying.
make it. They've tried, and I cannot make the commitment to do it. And but yeah, when you realize how much goes into one of those events, when I take my kids to Sights and Sounds and we spend a lot of money at Sights and Sounds, it's like, man, I know how much extra work went into this, and yeah, I'm sure Chisholm Trails is the same thing, right? I mean,
When you talk about weather, though, and you have an event, so you could have a weather delay or cancellation 1 year, and it takes you 2 or 3 years to recover from that. So, I mean, that's what happens at Sights and Sounds. That's got to be just about every event. And then you're talking about a run. Do they want their money back? It's what is their incentive, because they showed up to run. They showed, and you got to acknowledge that too. They want something out of this.
Yeah.
And so, are they going to turn that into? Don't worry about it. It's just a $30 donation to a cause. Maybe, maybe not. But you got to get yourself out of that hole, because you're a nonprofit. A lot of times, if you are doing any business or lending or something like that, you're a nonprofit. There are no guarantors associated with this. It's basically unsecured. So, the responsibility of a board is so much more important to help carry on that tradition and to keep moving forward, not to go, oh, that's a $50,000 loss. You know what? Whatever. Let's just go on home. It's like, no, we can't go on home. We got to keep this thing going. It's so fragile.
yeah, how many paid folks put on the Chisholm Trail Roundup?
It's all volunteer.
Zero.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
It's a big trail.
yeah. Oh yeah.
volunteer. You need to do the jingle run,
Exactly.
James.
Yeah.
Nobody's
I do.
making
That's-
anything.
That's a tough run, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough run.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
these
thought of-
events, nobody's making money off these events. They're just doing it to promote the culture of the community and to like keep that community feel going on. All these events, nobody's making money off it.
Yeah, I don't even think the goal is for profit. I wouldn't think. It's just
Well, but I will say, when I brought up earlier, we wish the young people would just approach the organization, ask for help, ask how they can get, not help, can they get involved? I would say one of the benefits, if someone is looking for a benefit, is the relationships that you establish as working on a board. So what does that mean when you get on a board and they see you perform, they see you do that duty, they see that job, they see your character? It's almost, it's more powerful than a job resume or an interview. They see you in action of what you can do. And so maybe one day you are going to go work for a different organization, but you're part of that board where that person might be the one who's going to hire you. But they've seen what you can do and how they could help that organization that make you move forward. So there's just so many other just additional possibilities that can happen from just doing good in your community and performing and working with others. That I see a real benefit as a young person there. I would not be where I am today if I was not involved in my community. That was one of the boxes I had to check in order to get to that step to open that door so I could get to where I am today. And it was just very important.
I know it's an old cliche, but it's all about relationships, right? It's all about relationships, and I think you never want to take it for granted, but getting involved in these boards. I mean, I'm when you deal with bankers and professional people, I mean, to me, it's a great mentoring circle for
Those
me.
people.
Because I run by him, a lot of ideas, and these guys, I mean, you got a bean counter right here that'll crunch numbers, man.
His
I mean,
ideas are expensive. Just throwing that out.
Yeah, I hope he's not charging me for this.
This is about to get really boring with two bankers.
I'll be excited.
Hey, with you as an introvert, was there like a point, like they're talking about building relationships and networking, so to speak? Was there a certain point where you're like, oh yeah, this is important, and I have to get out of my comfort zone to do this?
No, I mean, so I always knew, because both of us work in essentially sales, being in banking, right? You have to kind of sell yourself and your bank and everything else. Something like a nonprofit is the absolute best way to do it. because you don't have to hard sell somebody, right? You just prove that you're competent, and then people look at you, and you almost build like your own personal brand. And that's what I coach a lot of my team on in banking. It's like build your personal brand where people trust you because you want what's best for the community, and you've proven that you're reliable, you're consistent, you're a good person, and then from there, the rest of it's really easy, right? That's what I'm been spending the last year on coaching my team. It's like build your own personal brand, and then you don't have to be a salesman, because I am not a salesman.
He's not kidding.
I am not outgoing. But having other ways that are non-sales oriented to prove yourself, you can't beat that.
Well, back to the basic concept. What's the best referral?
Word of mouth.
From a friend. Yeah, word of mouth, right there. And that's how you get that best referral. A sign company, CPA, whatever you're doing, whatever you bring to the table.
And that's the message to the young kids, right? That's the lure. Hey, it's not about just, I got time, or, you got to look at it in a positive note. It's like, no, you're building relationships, man. This is, if you could see the big picture, then I guess for us as parents, it's kind of, we have to kind of, we got to paint that picture for them. But it's about, hey, you got to get there. You're going to build relationships that are going to help you in your business, So there's a lot more intangibles than just signing up to volunteer. I mean, it starts with your passion, but I think in the end, it's a good thing that translates.
But you take that, you can't fake it.
Yep.
Because they will find out really quick.
They
You
will.
can't fake it to make it on a board, because you're not holding up your own, you're not carrying your weight.
Well, we were laughing about my wife being an ultra introvert and involved in an organization tomorrow. Super introvert. But as I've dragged her to events, people are like, oh, she's actually a good person. So she just gets dragged into everything else. She doesn't know it, but she built sort of a personal brand on being a good, nice person, good person, someone people want to be around, and it just lifts you, whether you want it to or not,
You feel good about it.
Yeah.
Are you almost like not conscious of it of all that's happening because you're just being yourself, right?
Yeah, you're trying to. Yeah, I mean, it's...
You're not like, you don't go out like,
don't-
head out to the Cinco de Mayo like, tonight I'm going to build my personal brand.
No, not at all.
I think that
It takes
I think
years.
you're
You'll
right on
be,
that.
you'll
Well,
be that annoying.
I've been in sales for most of my life, and I remember when I started selling cars. First couple of years, I did okay, and then I kind of realized, like, I was in it for the money when I first started. Okay, I'm gonna make as much money as possible. But then I kind of realized, like, it's not about how much money I make. It's about, I don't want to sell this certain person the car. I want to sell you, your whole family. I want to have that relationship with all of you. And I kind of had to tell myself, how am I going to do that? Well, I moved here to Lockhart. I started selling here, and now I feel like I've built a name for myself, that I'm the guy that's going to just be honest with you, be upfront, not waste your time. And I'm not here to, like, just sell you anything. I'm just here to make you happy and show you good service. And when I did that, and I probably say I did that 2 or 3 years ago, it just totally changed for me, And then now I have more people, word of mouth, sending me people. I have more, my name coming up. I have more people tagging me online.
Well, you got your hashtag. Ask
Yeah,
for Steve-O.
yeah.
If you're looking for a job, just let me know. Don't tell your employer I said that. That is 100% what every employer is ever looking for.
Yeah,
is that long-term outlook where it's not what you do today. It's like what you do over the next 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And you just realize it's going to come back to you in waves.
Exactly.
As you do what's right.
Exactly.
Oh gosh,
Exactly.
that is the absolute.
I don't think
key.
of like Chuck Nash as my job. Like Chuck Nash is my store. This is where I'm Lockhart.
Yep.
Chuck Nash. Like I want people to
gotta
think
rep-
of me, and hey, I'm gonna go talk to Steven there, and he's just gonna be
Yep.
helpful, and that's it.
They buy from you. They're not
Exactly.
buying from
No,
Chuck Nash.
most definitely.
Yeah.
That's true.
But,
They
but
buy
as
from you.
corny as that sounds, though, I mean, being honest, being transparent, just being upfront with people, that's what they want. And in a sense, we all sell. We're all salesmen at one point in our lives, right? I mean, everything. When
I
as
put my
permission-
jeans on, man. What you talking about?
That's a hard sell.
Miami Vice over there.
But
My
that's-
socks might tell a different story. I don't know.
But and again, in a sense, we're all selling all the time. But what I learned a long time ago is just be who you are, man. I don't know, maybe it's my age that's talking, but we're at
Probably.
the point where just be who you are,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
But the
people are
other
gonna
thing-
smell the
Yeah.
fake. Like you said.
Yeah.
People. You try to front, people are gonna know that real
That's-
fast.
But young people, I say that young people, like when I look for folks to join our team or whatever it is, it comes across over the long term. Yeah, you can put a resume in, you can interview, okay, but we want to hire people that I've worked with, that I know, that you really trust, and stuff like that. You can't really fake over the long term.
No.
It's all the long term.
And you're right. Most people are pretty smart, so they'll figure it out. So why make it hard? But before I continue, I'm going to have another Pride cigar. Compliments on Mr. Christian Cisneros and the great host. He's in the audience, so thank you.
I've literally lost all taste in my mouth.
But it's so
it's
good.
It's
so
a good
good.
cigar.
I wanted to ask you guys a question. In the age of social media, where everyone's available to chime in on everything,
Like now?
yeah. How do you guys deal with the negative feedback with being on a board where you're in the public? Anyone can throw whatever. If you got a local discussion group, which ours is so toxic here in Lockhart.
San Marcos local news is toxic.
Oh, man.
I follow it just for the laughs.
Yeah.
Because it's,
We draw a lot of our material from our Lockhart discussion group just because I'm just like, why? Why did you do this? You know what I mean? You must have nothing to do. But how do you guys deal with the negative feedback that is thrown your way? And we can start over here with Miami Vice.
Well, I do appreciate that. Maybe that nickname might stick. But I would say just growing up, at first you take it real personal, and you get upset, and then you might make a mistake where you learn pretty quick that wasn't the right thing to do. But you can't take it personal. It's just constructive advice because everybody's got an opinion, and you got to look out for the best interest of the organization that you're promoting or you're working for or something along those lines. But I think that comes with age and experience, because at first you're so involved, you're so passionate about it, and you'll get so upset when you see something. There's nothing worse when you see a Facebook thing and then a boom, 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 boom. You're like, come on, man. But I'm out here just working all night long trying to help out this organization. But those people on the flip side don't understand what's going on. They understand and so as you get older, you realize, okay, this person's upset about this. And then you need a part of that organization that's going to contact that person. And then everybody's got a different story going on. What's going on in their personal life? It's really coming back to understanding that everybody's going through something, and you can't take it personal. They're upset about something. Now let's get back to that 1% that just wakes up upset all the time. You just can't do anything to help those people out.
That's me. No, I completely agree, and I think when it comes to like social media, the folks that are gonna post and like really argue with you on social media tend to be at the opposite ends of that spectrum.
Oh, yes.
And you have to look and you have to think, all right,
Such a minority group.
60% of the people, 70% of the
99.
people, yeah, that's probably true, aren't that passionate either way and kind of understand. It's funny because you're on Sights and Sounds soundboard. I'm Sights and Sounds for San Marcos. I'm not on that board at all. I get fired up when people criticize that board because I know a bunch of the people on there, and I get personally offended if someone's like, it's too much money, it's not worth it, the city's pocketing money, or whatever it is. I get really fired up about it, and I have to reel myself back in, even though I'm not even on that board.
This is
just
the
'cause
introvert talking, by the way.
This is a guy who creates memes on the spot. I ain't kidding you now,
They're
right?
terrifying. I told my wife, do not
On the
piss him
spot.
off.
just because I know what's going on in the background. So so much of it is education about what's going on. You said a Lockhart discussion group. San Marcos is pretty toxic. The discussion Facebook group is why won't the city open this and why won't the city open that? And it's like, well, it's not the city's job to do. And you feel like you need to defend it, but then you have to remember that it's really the outskirts that are willing to combat that. And so much of it's just education on what actually is going on, or what, if you respond to somebody on Sights and Sound, you say, hey, that's an all-volunteer board. Here's how you can get involved if you don't think this is going well. And, that kind of is it. Nobody's making money off this event. They're all just doing this with their heart, trying to make the best of a situation. I feel like that's probably the best approach. And being on the Chamber of Commerce, sometimes we get drawn into stuff that, just super pro development. Well, that's not always where we're at, right? Everybody on that board, same with Lockhart, right? Everybody involved in Lockhart is trying to look out for what they think is best for the community. And yeah, we might have differing opinions, but we all want what's best for the community. So if you start from that common ground, it makes those conversations a little easier.
And then also, if they would know right off the bat, hey, nobody is pocketing shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Right?
Nobody's pocketing shit.
Yeah. Dude, talking to two bankers, like all the growth that's
like, look at this guy. You gonna tell me he's not pocketing shit?
Me and him, we sit there and we look at what's going on in our community, and you look at the giant, the growth that's going on. Your local folks that are involved
Hell,
are
I
not.
don't know, man. I might be doing something different over here.
Your local folks that are involved are not the ones that are like just making a bunch of money off this whole thing. We both have to live in our community, and we want what's best for our community because we have to live there long term, right?
You see me mope around before. I'm like, oh my God, how are we gonna pay these bills?
Yeah. So
How's
I
your
think
Christmas?
I think it's coming from that perspective that if you have somebody involved in your community that is trying to make a difference, they're just looking out for your community as well. They're not just coming in to pillage it, because we all have to live there.
I'll tell you. So here's my biggest pet peeve about social media. If you got a problem, pick up the phone and call. Why do you have to post it? I mean, all you're doing is causing problems. You're not helping anybody in society. You're there for yourself and just to feel good, and you're probably drinking a 12-pack or a bunch of, whatever you're doing that day, you're doing that for the wrong reasons of why you're posting that. You're not doing it to help anybody out.
And I think that's my response. I think being old school creates a buffer for me because I really don't like social media. Now I'll post something once in a while, but going through personal experience, and some of the projects that was somewhat controversial, social media was a place to where, that's not where the real people that really interested in issues hang out, and I'm with David. I would prefer going people talking face to face, and so to me, being kind of that old school mentality, it creates a buffer for me. So I really don't take too much stock in social media. I think it's more people that like to vent and like to spread their ego around, but that's how I take it. I really don't take it.
It only takes seconds to post something like in a heat of the moment on social media. But to call somebody and interact with them, or to have somebody come and sit down right here and to have a discussion about what your issues are or whatnot. I remember with Alfonso with the was it the dump out there?
130 Environmental Park.
Yep.
Do we call that a dump?
Sorry.
I don't know.
Well, it was just because of a slogan that they had came up with is what I refer to it as. But yeah, I won't repeat it. But yeah, I mean, I had to be like, hey, dude, it's my family you're talking about. Chill out, dude. And then there was a time. And by the way, Alfonso's he's like a top male role model in my life. Like. Family gatherings.
Me too. I've only known him for a couple years.
He's already paid you. I can't afford anymore now. Come on now.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten paid yet. But he's there.
But
with me.
We had a conversation. We had a conversation, and he educated me about because I had no idea about any of the licenses or anything that goes on about opening up the environmental part. And so, he educated me on all that. And, now when I go out there and I'm going to be like, hey, well, did y'all know this? Did you know this? And no, they didn't. Because they just read a slogan and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to sign this petition or whatever. And it's uneducation. And they're not willing to get educated, especially those people where they find a side and they bury their feet down and they're not moving for nothing. And that's kind of what you were talking about earlier about differing opinions. And so many people are just, if you don't think like I do, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't like that because I'm friends with, people of all walks of life, and we can disagree, but I'm like, hey man, let's chill out, let's have a beer, something like that,
Yeah. There's so much common ground in the middle, and people get so focused on the outer ends of it. And something like the environmental project.
That sounds so.
But those
sensitive.
are
Surgical kinda, you know, like
they're so necessary for what's going on,
area.
everywhere. Absolutely. And they don't have to be the, connotation associated with something like that. I think there's so much middle ground, and there's so much learning you can do about a subject. I'll sound philosophical probably, but I always try to find like differing opinions when I try to read something, and that's probably why I don't comment on social media, is because I'm constantly trying to find either end of the spectrum, and then I want to make my own opinion about the whole thing. But
that's where the memes come out.
That's where the memes come from. Very middle.
They're terrifying.
Or I just send offsetting memes and end up in the middle.
But you know what, James? You brought an important point. It's all about education, right? And I think that's what we all come back to, is just letting our communities know what's out there and try to share. Be a good example, because even going through the permitting process, I could tell people whatever, but if I was going to go in there and be a bully and force people might think, it wasn't going to be productive. So it's just about educating people and understanding how they feel, respecting. Because even though you have a different opinion, to me, I want to know what's behind that. And I think we talk about this a lot, David, just in this. And that's the reason we started the
Little
cigar
money.
club, is sit down and talking, right? Just talking.
Little money.
Right? Little money. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, man. But,
Yeah, I mean now, like I had said, instead of telling people like, "Hey, that's my family, chill out," now I can, educate. Like, "Hey, did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know this?" And most of the time, it's not. I didn't know that, because I didn't know a lot of the stuff that he was telling me.
But you live in your circle now. And social media makes it so easy just to live in the groups that you follow. And so you're just repeating the same thing back and forth. And just getting more
Echo
angry.
chamber.
Yeah, perfect.
I call it
chamber.
parody. Just parody.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to Jerry Springer? Bring that guy on back, man. We need that show back. I mean, just put
Well,
that
yeah,
out there.
that was before social media, though. Also, I'm trying to figure out how you got the playlist from my skating rink in my home.
I didn't know he was hip to. I was like,
big-timer.
Hey,
this is
he's been banging this whole time.
Still fly? Yeah, I'm about to put some
culture.
skates on and
Well,
skate
man.
around this parking lot.
I got some money for that.
Gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
They got that old skating rink over there going towards Lily. What did they do with it?
I think they're just turning it down.
Oh,
It
yeah?
is turned down too, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school.
All right, David, you got to pass
Vice.
me one of those light Pride cigars.
Can you say it again, sir?
David, I
Light.
thought his name was Vice.
Vice. One of the light ones.
And what kind of
God,
cigar are
they're
you
good.
smoking, David?
The Pride by El Leon.
This is their,
They have
this
these.
is their label,
Yeah, they
And
had
you know
these
what?
made.
and it's a smooth
Nicaragua.
cigar.
It is good.
I'm smoking a mild, which is my favorite, but man, it is so smooth. I got to remember that there's a little wrapper on it.
Me too. I'm a sissy as well. I like the mild. So
How about
All I
you,
taste
James?
is good
I'm headed
tobacco.
I've smoked a cigar maybe like once or twice, but what did you give me?
I think that one was one of their ones that they make here, like
Okay.
the hand rolled ones. I'm pretty sure it was like a cherry or something like that.
yeah, they apparently hand roll those and flavor them.
I'm pretty big on
And
sweet.
they're
I try to
good.
do sweet as much as I can.
It's really a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz, you a mountain biker?
I am not.
Into
my
that
That's his last
conversation.
name.
Oh, that's cheating.
Hey, I take full advantage, dude.
I've been eyeing that for like
I
an
take
hour now, and I was like,
I take full advantage.
where do you go mountain biking around here? And sitting
But-
there thinking about David's wife.
so,
Is that appropriate?
I do
Is she-
appreciate you bringing her up.
Yeah.
Is she a mountain biker?
No,
No.
she runs.
Hey,
She runs the parks over there. And
So I don't mean to interrupt, but so we got our guest leaving, Mr. Jaime Cifuentes, who's going to the Caribbean. You want to give some words of some
Have a
parting
seat.
words?
Have a seat, real quick.
For the trip or for
Whatever,
Well, I appreciate every single one of them.
Well, we can't hear you. Got to take on the mic.
you have to put all of this on in.
Come on, Jaime, you got to do it right.
Yeah, probably need to take your shirt off too.
Untuck it at least. Just untuck it.
No,
Go ahead and have a
I just wanna
seat.
say I appreciate everything, words of wisdom, and for what y'all do, individual. So just keep doing what y'all doing.
Send back some pictures.
And
We want to see about it.
But no,
Bring
no,
it back.
no upside down. What?
bring back the
Flamingos.
And
You know, this thing's going sideways.
oh shit!
We're all looking forward to seeing your sunburn.
But yeah, I'll see y'all again. I'll see y'all again. So.
We say that you might just hang out there and open up a business. We don't know. Yeah,
He's gonna get there. He's gonna. They do say St. Thomas is the Lockhart of the Caribbean. I don't know if you guys heard
I
that.
man.
Oh.
Rasta man.
I guess we need to do a field trip.
Oh, yeah, man.
You been on a cruise, Fonzo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Man, I love them. I love the cruises. You know where I find myself? And like you probably figured. So I love it that on the very top they have a track.
Oh yeah.
So I love it, man. In the mornings up there in the very top over the
I bet you
officer
that's
cabin.
cool.
Man,
You can-
In
yeah,
the middle
I
of the sea, just
that
run a
is
couple
awesome.
laps.
You
It's
can
cool,
run,
bro.
you can drop your bandana over and over and over, and you can claim whatever time you want at the end of it.
Pick it up on the next lap.
I love it,
Just
man.
don't fall off. You're good to go.
I've been
That's
on a
one
handful
rule.
of cruises, and I've never once thought about running. So I'm more impressed by you every day.
When we go to the beach, that's something that I look forward to, is running on the
Oh, me
beach in the
too,
mornings.
Oh yeah,
It's a
for
different
sure.
run.
It
And two,
is.
I mean, it's, I guess it's the
sand,
sand.
yes,
You know, you're
yes.
like,
But the scary about it is when you run so far feeling good, and it's like when you turn around.
oh yeah,
It's
because then
like-
I got to run back.
Oh man, I've had a couple of those moments.
Biking got me like that.
It's always into the wind.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You
Biking
never
got me
turn
in the-
around with the wind. It's
When
always in.
when I started biking, I was like, all right, 10 miles. And I'm like, then I rode, and I was like, damn, I got 10 miles to go back home now. Like, that's going to suck.
Call the wife.
Come pick me up, bring the truck.
Yeah, that's something.
Well, guys, we're almost at 2 hours here.
Damn.
Man.
Yeah, flies by.
Probably need to call my wife.
I'll be real, guys. I mean, I was kind of nervous because, you know, some people I've never met.
I
And
do
you kind of
that
let me
to
know your
people, it's all right.
positions. and I was like, you know, like, am I going to bring anything to the conversation? I mean, it's just nice to know. I mean, y'all just a couple regular guys, you know, that just care about the community. And it's pretty inspiring, you know, to know that it's pretty much as easy as just making the choice and having the mindset and going out there and rocking it, you know. So I appreciate, you know, kind of spending a couple of hours with you guys. And I mean, I texted my wife and I was like, man, these dudes are awesome. You know, she was texting me, how you doing? I was like, oh, I'm learning so much. It's badass, man.
Well, it was easy. I mean, I looked over and I saw the Rangers hat. I knew you were into suffering. You'd put up with us the
I'm sure you're a
rest of the
Dallas Cowboys
time.
fan, too.
Exactly.
It's
So
a
I'm used to it, brother. I'm
lifestyle.
just used to it, man.
I'm from the Dallas area. He's from Arlington.
Oh,
So I
okay.
mean,
I heard
we
Tina
all
Moore.
we all like to suffer.
Hey,
so
man,
you
it
know
just
how
I
it
can't
goes.
I can't never change. You know, it's
I
never
agree.
gonna ever
Don't
change.
change.
What are
You
you
know,
gonna
it's
do?
not- I mean,
Be a quitter?
exactly. 27 years, 28's gonna be the year. That's what it is.
Sorry, I had to. If y'all are Astros fans, we can just go ahead and sign off now.
I'm not much of a baseball fan, but I am a Green Bay Packers fan.
Oh,
So I'm going through it myself.
Hey, we can't all be Americans.
Some of us have to be
Yeah.
Canadians. I get it.
Well, I just quit torturing myself. You know, I just say, you know, I just kind of took a sabbatical from really all sports, except now since the Spurs won the #1 pick.
Boom, baby.
I'm gonna tune in.
Oh yeah.
That's the only Dallas team I don't follow. Is I'm a Spurs fan for life. I'm
I
from
was
San
going to say,
Antonio.
I saw that #1 pick, and I was looking forward to him winning 20 games next year.
Well, that's how it
Can't
usually
wait.
starts, but yeah.
Build up that talent pool.
That's right.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories, and I won't drag it on, but is I got to spend a whole day with some Spurs team playing basketball, and it was like felt like one of those Make a Wish kind of, you know.
They probably thought it was your last
When
one.
was that? When was that? When was
Oh
that?
man, that was.
Yesterday.
It's like, was it like the big three time? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
they
bro,
were right in the
that's
middle of the
Well, you
championship.
got to take your son too,
I
right?
got to take. Well, I took Marina.
Oh, okay.
Javier wasn't born yet, so I took Marina, and man, it was. And I got to play ball. And the neat thing about it is, I don't know what it was, but so everybody else had to stay outside. It was like you know, one of those fitness centers, plush, and all the fans had to stay outside. And for some reason or another, they let me stay in there. You know, I don't know what it was. I guess every time the security came, I would go to Mano and I would put my arm around her.
She must belong.
Everybody wants to hang out with you. I get it. I'm here.
Oh, you're the trash guy, right?
Yeah, man. I talk trash for a living.
No one talks trash better. I tell you that.
That's
It's,
cool,
it's like
man.
that one guy wrote a song. He said, "Trash? You call it trash, but I call it cash."
There you go.
You turn that stuff green.
Counts, but anyway,
Hey,
So-
go ahead.
Before we go, I mean, I'm big on like I know we talked about social media earlier, and I'm big on like my social media mindset and my presence. And it's purely positivity. So every day I'm looking up positive quotes. How am I gonna
I
set
know
my
that
day?
wasn't you saying that.
I come up with a couple good ones, bro. But I really respect the conversation, so I'd like to see if y'all can leave me off with maybe something to quote or something that you just remember, or something that comes to your head, and what you think you can kind of put out there for us.
That is good, dude. I'm gonna have to fire Austin.
Boom.
Let me get my AI chatbot.
Chat GPT.
I have one.
Give me a motivational quote.
This is from a really deep source. Like, I mean, this one just spoke to my heart.
Philosophical.
I pulled this out of a fortune cookie the other day at lunch, and it hit me. Fortune cookie, you just think, oh, whatever. And I read it and I was like, oh my gosh. If you know what you're doing, you're probably not learning anything. And I thought, man, that hit me. That feels like I'm at where I am in my career, where I am in my life, raising kids, like the whole thing. It was, if you know what you're doing, you're probably not learning anything. And I was like, man, yeah, there it is. So there you go. Fortune cookie.
I like
Straight from San Francisco.
I've got it's just a personal quote, and I think it's a personal growth that I take to heart. And I don't remember who said it, but he said, I'm not the man that I want to be. I'm not the man that everybody expects me to be. But thank God that I'm not the man that I used to be.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's the way I take it every day. It's that. And I challenge my kids every day. I mean, I'm the one that puts a quote in the morning and says, good morning, let's take advantage, because I see, and you brought this up earlier, James, these moments are so special. And I guess it's the age in me, but I realize that, you know what, these are fleeting moments, man. Mm-hmm. And that's why I appreciate the time I spend with these guys, with you guys. I really take it to heart, and so that's kind of my quote.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
I like
Hell
that,
yeah.
yeah.
I like that one too.
Man, that is cheating. That is good.
That was a good one.
I'll show you cheating.
What about David? David, what is your quote,
That
baby?
beat
Well, hold
my
on. Let's
fortune
not
cookie.
steal
Let
the thunder
James go.
over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Let's
I'll show you cheating. So the millennial and me went to Chat GPT, just off of pure curiosity. Hey, no cheating, man. Chat GPT says, when I told it, give me a motivational quote. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle.
That's pretty deep.
It is. It
That
is.
sounds like a chat GPT.
Did I say Chat GPT? I said I came up with it myself.
I mean, I had an intern the other day. I was doing an interview, and he asked me that question: "What do you define success as?" And I said something back pretty good. Even HR said it's pretty good. And I don't know what I said, but it was something to the effect of figure out the answer on your own. Keep moving forward. Don't wait on others to figure out the answer for you. Don't be stagnant. Just continue to move forward. One of my biggest pet peeves is when someone comes and asks me a question, and I'll look at Google and be like, oh, let me just figure that out for you real quick. You can figure it out yourself. Figure it out, move forward. Don't be afraid to take risk, and just keep on going.
And you know what? So many times when you try to come up with an answer on your own, even if you're working for somebody and you're wrong, they just absolutely respect that you tried to come up with it on your own. And even if y'all disagreed on where you ended up, that respect that you earned during that process is way more important than what you came up with.
So I end with that. Because that's so true. You respect the effort.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
Wise
yeah.
words from Vice.
I think the only one I got, so I'll just go off of what I read this morning. It was Jocko. I think it was a Jocko one. It said, do the right thing for the right reasons, and you're always going to win at the end.
Amen.
Yeah, I think that one. And honestly, that speaks to this conversation, guys. I appreciate y'all for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for giving us an ear, and we didn't know what to expect. These guys didn't know what to expect. I kind of had.
I didn't know what to
I didn't know what to expect
Well,
at
I
all,
wasn't
guys.
gonna
When I
jump
first
on
got
board.
here, I was like, what should I
Yeah.
say?
Well, and I was kind of, I took it for granted that being around these guys, I knew that just hearing them talk was enough, and I knew that was enough for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
These guys, there's a lot of experience here, a lot of good heart.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is kind of like a catapult, and we can continue, to keep the relevance of what it is to be within a region. You know,
Yeah.
it's much bigger.
Third
than
Friday of the
Lockhart.
month.
Yeah, did you give
I'll
your
be back.
name
I'll
yet?
be through here
At the end of this
Friday night. I can
conversation,
make
I'd
sure
give
I
my
make it
full
through.
name.
Unless you're
great.
with me, you're not welcome. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but one of the main reasons I started this podcast almost 5 years ago was because I just like talking with people and taking something from them. And that is exactly what happened here today. So I thank all of you guys, Alfonso, for having us out here, inviting me out here.
Thank you.
And for all you guys for sharing your knowledge and experience and your, what you know. Really thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That is it. Thank y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.
Next week.
Little money. Yeah. That was good, man.
No, that's fun, bro.